They can do. Good morning. We're all live on TV. Welcome. Oh, and it nerve-wracking when you do a Zoom meeting and you know it's being recorded. I don't know. Anyway, so like I said, Solution Builder's down. So what I did, I actually created a couple of illustrations, and I was just about to get the third one, and it crashed. But I have created an illustration for mortgage protection on a joint basis, also family protection of a multiple of salary for Mister, and same multiple of salary for Mrs. So a pretty common setup from a multi-plan point of view, all based on life cover. Just kept it really simple. Something I'm doing a lot at the moment is protecting the mortgage debt, multiple of salary for life, and then throwing in an income protection policy on a full-term benefit above. So I'm just going to stick with that. There will be another one of these. We'll just pretend there is one because again, Solution Builder's crashed. But what I wanted to do is when I run through the RL is have essentially 5 policies, which should take a long time. I'm going to show you how it doesn't take a long time. And there's no magic formula for doing it. It's just a matter of my RL's tailored, ready to be finalized. I've changed a lot of things already within it from a standard template. I suppose the frustrating thing with that is that when Primus do update the RL letters, I do need to kind of rejig the wording to make sure I'm using the latest copy. But as long as you're conscious of that, then it should be pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to stop that share and just reshare the RL. So what time are we on now? Should we test it? 9:37. Let's call it 9. Let's call it 9:38. Before I get going, any questions?
No.
No problem.
Nope.
Well, I know you're all excited, so I'll crack on. So standard RL, of course, if you're doing business protection, PMI, all that kind of stuff, and mortgages, of course, it's totally different suitability letters. But this is a personal standard protection RL. So it's my dad's birthday today, so I'm very simple. I'm going to start with 26th of November, 2024. It's nearly Christmas, lovely. Throw that back over there. And then I've actually created my clients through Solution Builder for them illustration. I've got Mr. Test and Mrs. Testy. Because you're watching, I will spell a lot of things wrong. Now, they live at the street over here in Hitchin. And I don't need that. Teach you how to suck eggs here, by the way. Put in that. At the top, of course, I'm a big fan of copy and paste. So I'm going to put the details in there, copy and paste that one. And it always messes about. So I'm going to throw that back in the middle. But also putting them in there as well. So the basics of the letter at the top are at the end of this, we need, of course, to throw it into a letter ready template. And literally that is just a Command A for me. It might be Control A for you. Control C to copy, Control V to paste into a letterhead. If you didn't already know that, again, maybe teaching you how to suck eggs. So we're running through. So what advice have I provided? So as I've mentioned, I'm looking at life cover to protect the mortgage and above, multiple salary, and I'm looking at income protection for both of them. So by means of here, I'm just tailoring this and taking out what's not relevant and tidying up. So critical illness, I'm not doing on this occasion. I'm not doing that, but I am providing my family with an amount above the mortgage debt. Replacing all of my income, that's correct. And then the last one, of course, is whole of life. Very rare we do that these days. They'll probably end up pulling that at some point, I'd expect, because no one really does it in the network. So I get to this point and I've said I'm going to do 5 policies.
Can I just ask a really quick question?
Of course you can.
What are you just doing just there? Because we talked about this not that long ago. Do you not need to include the stuff that you're recommending that they haven't taken out?
I don't, and I'll come on to why at the bottom in a minute because I've added a line where I write about that, like advice not taken, but good question. So, you know, what I've done there, literally I've highlighted the top line, Control C, boom, boom, boom. I've created my 5 policies because I've not done 5 policies. I know what I've advised. And then I'm just dropping down. So I've got mortgage protection, family protection ×2, one for Mr., one for Mrs. And then I've got income protection for Mr. and I'll pretend I've got income protection for Mrs. Click the right button on that one. So the provider on this one was Royal London. When you're doing live cover, it does what it says on the tin. There's no point in really offering anyone else unless it's for underwriting reasons, for terms. Member benefits now you can't do. These clients, as much as they've only got one illustration, it was Vitality that was the most cost effective. And of course, again, from a compliant point of view, that's what you want to be recommending. So benefit sum assured, mortgage protection. I did a mortgage of 250,000 and did it over 25 years. Tailoring towards the mortgage. And what I would say as well is never protect half the mortgage debt. Teach you that's okay maybe again, but don't do 2 single plans to cover a joint mortgage. If you've got a joint mortgage, do a joint plan. If you've got 250,000, cover it for 250,000. If you need to tailor it differently, don't do mortgage protection, do something else. And this will be, get rid of that. Testing. Monthly cost on my illustration for this one, we'll say it's 29.30. And then over and above now we've got family protection. I'm going to do I'm going to do 150,000, which is 3 years salary. But rather than doing the mortgage term on this, I'm doing it up until retirement. And I will show the illustration in a minute just to show you what I'm doing. This one's the test because it's a single plan. Putting in the premium and then just repeating with Royal London at the bottom for this one. 25,000 a year, so 75,000 cover. Again, you can copy and paste if you want to. On this occasion, just type it in, it's quicker sometimes when you're in a mode. And this one is for client 2, Mrs. Testy. She's slightly younger, so her premium's slightly cheaper. So when it comes to Vitality, 60% of income, I've done the maximum benefit. Of course, you won't have to do that. Your advice is based on what they require. It could be 60%. If it's executive IP, it could be 80. It could be including pension, national insurance contributions, or it might just be for a benefit amount that meets the needs to cover the mortgage payment, commitments, lifestyle as well. But on this occasion, I'm going to do 2,500 because on 50,000 a year, which is the maximum benefit available, whereas if you do 25,000 a year, so it's half the benefit. Again, just tidying that up. Probably better to copy and paste on this basis. But when you do that, it just speeds things up. Test is on the bottom one. And that's how I get through my RL nice and quick. It's just getting a habit of copy and paste. Saves you typing too much. And then more expensive for this client with a bigger benefit. Was this client slightly younger? I will do it at 29.98. So I've got my products in there. I filled out the top of the RL letter. Now, essentially what we need to do now is just add in the products and the advice. This section here is important. It's talking about a trust. It's talking about underwriting. That's always going to stay for me. That's always going to stay for me, of course, if there's life insurance. If it's a replacement plan, you'll keep that in. On this occasion, it's not. For me, my advice, not many replacement cases that I do. So, of course, it does speed up the time doing an RL letter. Now, one thing I do by means of these products now is I tidy up my RL to what I do need and what I don't need before I complete it. But one thing I don't do is I don't create copy and pasting, say 2 family protections now and 2 income protections now based on this. I just do one, I complete one, and then I copy and paste it because I'll use a lot of the same information in the next one. So it makes sense to just do that. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So mortgage protection staying. Come down to the next section. Have I done standalone critical illness cover? I haven't. So I'm coming down to there and I'm deleting that section. Again, family protection. Have I done that? Yes, I have. So I could copy and paste that now. Control C and throw another one in, but don't do that because a lot of the things you're going to add in here are going to be relevant to applicant 1 and applicant 2. So we're going to do that later once it's completed.
Well, I've never been told off. I've never been told off for it, but I do mine together.
No, I never do that. Ignore what Lizzie just said.
No, it's a genuine question because I've never ever been picked up on it.
No. You need 1 to each policy.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Unless it's a joint plan. Income protection, again, separate policy that we are advising, so we'll leave that in. If there's 2 of them, of course you can copy and paste, but don't do it yet, do it after. And then additional benefits, we'll get to that. So we're going to now fly back up to the top and we're going to say, we need to fill out the criteria. So I suppose this is the most important bit for advice for court checks is getting this right. But it's really a matter of working across and across and across. Don't work in and out because you'll miss bits. So this is Royal London, we said, didn't we? So I suppose why have I recommended this provider? You know the answer to that. There's no right or wrong. So the answer to the question is they offer the most cost-effective solution on our panel with Primus. I always give clarity on that because they might be able to get it cheaper elsewhere. And I suppose maybe that will be wrong. I copy that and I fly down to your family protection section. Now, why do I do that? Because it's a multi-plan and it's the same answer that's going to go in there. And I'm back up to there. So I'm working on a recommendation of a multi-plan. It's the same answer for the provider in each one. So that I know that's done on the other product. And when I copy and paste it later, it'll be done as well. So mortgage protection. Lump sum, clear your mortgage. So you've got no liability. On this one, it's to do with death. And because you confirmed you would not want to maintain and manage the payments alone if your partner passed away. So it's all free text for me. It's my mindset, it's my conversations with the client. There's no right or wrong answer there. It's a matter of you putting in the right detail. And don't put too much in, but put enough in, I suppose what I would say. Because if you go song and verse and give 10 different reasons, court's got 10 different reasons to pick you up on things and think, actually, is that right? Is that wrong? Leanne's eyebrows are going up. But what I would say is that give a definitive answer and then back it up as well if you need to back it up, if it's something a bit more complex to why you've done it. So then you put some assured, just like we did in the top, covering 250,000. Majority of the time you find they've got a repayment mortgage, so that stays in. If it's not, take it out. And most of the time, you're going to protect the mortgage in full. You're not going to not do it. So it basically means it'll clear your mortgage. Mortgage term, really simple. And I've already got edited text in there saying it matches the mortgage term. Why would it not? So let's keep that in there. Test and testy goes in here. And then, of course, we're saying we're both covered. We're going to do a joint one if it's a joint reason. And if you died, and then get rid of this. And why? So this is because you have a joint liability which each other require protection against. Again, there's no right or wrong. Free text, add in a reason. Really simple. So the benefit basis, we know it's decreasing. It will reduce. And it's a repayment mortgage. Does it all for you. Nice and easy. Take that out if it's not Royal London, the bottom bit. I've already completed that in the template, there's nothing to do. And waiver, it's already completed. I add waiver onto every single policy unless a client adamantly says they don't want it. I suppose I'm lying there. If there's significant medical issues, sometimes I don't add it on. If that's the case, I take that out and delete it. If it is the case, majority will be, you can see here on the deferment, 6 months. If it's the 3 month you've took, just edit that bit there, edit this bit here over here. But I'm going to keep it at 6 on these. Does that make sense?
So you don't need to leave it in if you're not recommending it with a reason why you're not recommending it.
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I suppose you could say that about a lot of things, couldn't you? Why you're not recommending critical illness? Why you're not recommending fracture cover? Why not recommending global treatment? If you went song and verse on what you're not doing, then you'd be there all day. So recommend what you've done. Waiver premium is important because a little bit of a PPI pickup in that advice. They're going to look at it and think, actually, I've been paying for something. It wasn't advised and disclosed to me in writing, and I'm not happy that I was paying that extra premium on top of an actual premium that I could have had it lower for. So that's why you've got to add it in there if it's an extra cost. So coming on to here, family protection. Again, we know it's Royal London. I've already put the wording in there from my mortgage protection because it's a multi-plan, so it's the same justification if it's life cover. And then we just work our way down the list. So this is a level term plan. On here, really simple. We'll go level term plan. And why is it important to have a level term plan? You know the answer. So for example, important because you wanted to make financial decisions, no matter the size, with a cash advance. It just negates the fact for family income benefit, which of course would pay on the drip, which might have restrictions then on ability to make decisions. My heater off, sweating in here. So client one, really important. Sorry, I did 150,000. Get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of the fib text because it's not fib, and I'm going to start with level term assurance. Keep that wording in. So the sum assured has been recommended because it offers a multiple of 3 times income. Also back that up. Why 3 times income? You know, that's really important, which meets budget and offers financial stability for your family. Again, no right or wrong, comes from the heart, comes from whatever you need to do. It's going to be a lump sum. I don't do a lot of fib, probably should do some more, to be honest with you, because that's why. I'm very repetitive. You don't have to make things up. If it's the same reason, put it in there. They're not looking for you to just talk for the sake of talking. On this one, it's not on years, it's age 68. And this is your anticipated retirement age. Watch. And this one's for client one. Test. We're coming over here. It's a single plan. Because why is it a single plan? It's tailored to your loss of income personally. Increasing cover is already done. Indexation is already done. The reason for that, get rid of the diabetes thing, by the way, of course, not diabetes cover. The reason I've already done that is that I index and increase every single family protection policy. So it will always needs to be that as well. And then waiver, same applies. If you've added waiver, and let's say it's on 6 months, it's already done. Now, this is the important bit. You now need to go up here because there's an extra one. Copy it. And where's it gone? Let me just find the end of it there. Go into the middle and paste it. So you've now got 2 that are the same. So you know that Testy wanted one, but Testy's was 75,000. Royal London is the answer. The level term's the answer. It's all for the same reasons. It's still 3 times her salary. It's still to age 68. It's for the female client. It's indexed and increasing, and there's a waiver. That's done now. So don't feel like you need to repeat and keep doing the same things. Now, you might come to the sum assured, and this might have been 15,000, and then your justification here, you might just want to just slightly tailor that differently. But the majority of the time, you're going to find that it's a lot quicker just to use that copy and paste. So then you've got your mortgage protection, family protection, all completed within there. And really all you need to do now is jump down to the bottom and complete your income protection one. So income protection, again, they're going to be single plans. This time the provider changes to Vitality. Why? Just an example. Why did you do it? You know the answer, not us. Income protection, wording's already in there, so that's fine. How much is the benefit? Well, we said for this person, it's 60% of their income because this is the maximum. Again, what is the reason you've done that benefit? Or it offers stability for your commitments, whatever you want to put. When's it running to? Age 68, already says retirement in there. You don't have to start typing because that will always be the answer. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Test. And then this section here, I just want to run through that. So this benefit term here is talking about whether it's limited or a full term. So if it's limited, it'll say here, it'll only pay for 2 years, 5 years, 1 year. If it's a full term, just delete that, that's done. And then because you require ongoing security against loss of income, Type. That'll do. Increasing's done. What's the deferment? We did 3 months. And then here, already done. Deferment period, tailoring to your needs, sick pay cover. You know, if they're self-employed, just take that employee bit out, just use the savings element. But I've already put it in there. I suppose that's the key, to always have something in. You might want to add something in and say, we discussed blah, blah, blah. You can put whatever you want. You can add to this. But because you've got a bit of a backbone about it, writing already, it's a lot quicker, as you can see. So we'll keep that in there. Index is done. Waiver on this one. What you'll find for IP is that waiver is included as standard. So you need to really understand what providers do. And the best way to do that is that when you're doing your RL, just dip into the key features, press Control F to find, write waiver, and you'll find out what the waiver waiting period is. So for this, it says 6 months. Well, Vitality will cover the cost of premiums if incapacitated. I know that with Vitality, so I can get rid of that. So that no tailors for Vitality. Again, we're going to do this for Mr. and Mrs. So let's keep it really simple now. Copy that, put it underneath that one, paste it in, come back to the top. All the reasonings are correct, except the difference this time is that we did 1250 because income were lower at 60%. It was still 68, but it's for Testy, which is the second client. All the reasonings for me are pretty much the same. Again, they might be different. The deferment might slightly change. So you might want to update that slightly if it does reflect differently. On this basis, I'll do it on 3 years for the same reasons. Sick pay savings. Indexed is done. You've just done a policy there in 10 seconds without having to think. So then the additional benefits section, I suppose, you know, when you're doing critical illness cover, this can take an extra, 3-5 minutes because you want to make sure you get that right. But I always come to the bottom on this because there's so many. And then I say, replacement cover, no. Buyback, immediate death, severity, accelerate. A lot of Zurich things there. Optimizer, vitality, we didn't do that on the IP. Extra care cover, TPD, we didn't do that because it's not kick this policy. There could be kick elements there that you would do, but for me, there's no additional benefits. So I could have fracture cover in IP, but I didn't. So I'm just going to get rid of it. That's what I do. It's gone. Don't need to add it in. Don't need it. Don't need to talk about it. Existing policies, if you have one, of course, you mentioned there's a replacement questionnaire, but I'm going to say there's none. So if there's none, delete the line. You don't need to talk about it. And then you asked the question before, Lizzie, about advice. I've got that line in there. Further to my advice, you opted to not take my recommendation for, and then I'll discuss on verse on what that would be, why discussions, and also just add a final thing. Illustrations presented and added to file. Can't spell. So when it comes to this, they have taken IP, delete that, so keep that in. If you haven't taken IP, delete that out. And then last thing, the trust is done already. The will just needs to say yes or no. You told me do not have a will. You told me you do have a will. If I'm arranging the will, I say you've got a will in place. I'm proactive on it. Control there, copy. All of it's done. I'll then press this button here and make it all black actually first. And then Control C. My RL's now done. PDF finished. And that's with 5 policies. So it took around 15-20 minutes and I'm explaining it. And the majority are probably going to be 2 or 3. They're not going to be 5. 5's your worst case scenario. That makes sense?
Yeah. I'm just wondering from so some of the, like when you put like offer stability for your commitments, is court happy